When's the last time we've seen a season like Christian McCaffrey's in 2025? I'll answer that for you. Never. CMC spent 1 year coming back from a near career-ending injury situation and accomplished more than most running backs do in their entire primes. He delivered one of the all-time great comeback seasons, had moments that will forever be etched into NFL history, and cemented his legacy as the most complete back the game has ever seen. He did all of that in 1 year.
And here it comes, Mac Jones in a clean pocket, floats it for McCaffrey, makes the catch, touchdown, San Francisco!
2025 CMC was a singularity, a one-of-a-kind season that words can't even describe. You had to see it to believe it. Facing Christian McCaffrey in 2025 was simply terrifying. The dude was driven by something, and the reason is because, well, actually it'd be easier to just show you. Coming off a 2023 season where he was the best offensive player in football, rushing title, scrimmage yards leader, 21 total touchdowns.
McCaffrey comes left, that door is closed, but he finds a way through, and McCaffrey twirls to the end zone for the touchdown! What a run!
A trip to the Super Bowl, McCaffrey signed a massive contract extension worth $38 million in the summer of 2024, the most ever given to a running back. He was the undisputed #1 pick in every fantasy draft on the planet, and then it all came apart before the season even started. A calf issue in training camp turned into something far more serious. Bilateral Achilles tendonitis, both legs. He flew to Germany to see a specialist. He missed the entire first 8 weeks of the season. And when he finally came back in week 10, he looked like himself for exactly 4 games. Then came Sunday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills. A routine play, a PCL injury. And just like that, his season was over again. 50 carries, 202 rushing yards, 0 touchdowns. That was 2024. I can only imagine what that felt like. The highest paid running back in the sport, a Super Bowl still missing from his trophy case. 2 straight seasons eaten alive by injuries. There was no doubt it fueled him, because in 2025, the dude was a full-on force of nature. Opening weekend for McCaffrey and the Niners was straight to business, and CMC was ready to prove something from snap 1. He was incredible right out the gate. Week after week, he was stuffing the stat sheet. The yards were piling up, the receptions were piling up, and the touchdowns were piling up.
Purdy, shovel, McCaffrey, navigating to the end zone for the touchdown.
And the thing that stood out most wasn't the individual highlights. It was the relentlessness. This was a man who couldn't stay on the field 13 months earlier, and he looked like he'd never missed a single snap. By week 7 against the Atlanta Falcons, he put together one of his best performances of the season. 129 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, and 7 catches for 72 receiving yards in a 20-10 win. He took home NFC Offensive Player of the Week. And I want you to think about that for a second. This guy had bilateral Achilles tendonitis in both legs less than a year ago. Yet here he is putting up performances that should have linebackers arrested for letting them happen. Through just 7 weeks, he was leading the entire NFL with 185 total touches, 1st in carries, 3rd in receptions. A genuine question started circulating. Was Christian McCaffrey having the greatest post-injury season in NFL history? Because the numbers weren't just good, they were absurd.
And here it comes, Mac Jones in a clean pocket, floats it for McCaffrey, makes the catch, touchdown, San Francisco!
By mid-season, it was clear that Christian McCaffrey wasn't just back. He was operating on a level that had no business existing. What made 2025 CMC so genuinely terrifying for defensive coordinators is that there was no blueprint to stop him. Stack the box and Brock Purdy found him on a wheel route for 40 yards. Put a linebacker on him in coverage, and that linebacker was getting embarrassed. Double team him out the backfield, and he'd still find a way to get open. He was simultaneously the best running back and the best pass catching weapon on the field every single snap. By the time the season was done, he had finished with 311 carries for 1,202 rushing yards and 10 rushing touchdowns. And then on top of that, he added 102 receptions for 924 receiving yards and 7 receiving touchdowns. 2,126 yards from scrimmage on the season, second most in the entire NFL. He scored a rushing or receiving touchdown in 12 of his 17 games. 12! And he did all of that on a career-high 413 total touches, leading the entire NFL in touches for the third time in his career. Kyle Shanahan was running this man into the ground, and McCaffrey was not just surviving it. He was thriving. Because here's the most insane part. He became the first player in NFL history to finish with more than 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards in a season multiple times. He did it in 2019. He did it again in 2025. No one else in the history of professional football has ever done that twice. Not once, twice. The dude was not human. Now here's the thing. People talked about the numbers, and rightfully so. But what truly made 2025 something special wasn't the stats. It was the circumstances that surrounded them. This was a man who flew to Germany to try to save his career, who missed the entire first half of the previous season, who came back for 4 games, got hurt again, and spent the winter wondering if his best football was behind him. He was almost 36 years old, ancient by running back standards, coming off the worst season of his career, carrying the most expensive contract ever given to a running back, heading into a year where people quietly asked whether the mileage had finally caught up. The answer was a resounding no. At the NFL honors ceremony in February 2026, Christian McCaffrey was named the AP Comeback Player of the Year in a landslide. 395 points, 31 first place votes. It wasn't close. He was also a finalist for Offensive Player of the Year and MVP. He won the PFWA Comeback Player of the Year as well. He swept the room. And when he got to that podium, you could see it on his face. This one hit different because it wasn't just about football. It was about proving that you can take everything from a competitor, his health, his momentum, his season, and he'll come back and be better than ever. The playoffs roll around and McCaffrey is locked in. Wildcard weekend against the Philadelphia Eagles, 15 carries, 48 rushing yards, and 6 catches for 36 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns in a 23-19 win. He was a nightmare to cover. A defense that knew exactly what was coming still couldn't stop him. The divisional round against Seattle was a different story. The Seahawks handled business 41-6 in a dominant performance, and McCaffrey was limited on a day where nothing went right for San Francisco. The championship still eludes him, and that's the honest part of the story. But here's what you absolutely cannot take away. He played all 17 regular season games. He shouldered 413 touches. He piled over 2,000 scrimmage yards. He scored 17 touchdowns. He won Comeback Player of the Year. He became the first player in history to do the 1,000 twice. And he did all of it at an age when most running backs are already collecting pension checks, coming back from injuries that would have ended lesser careers. 2025 McCaffrey is not a conversation. He is the standard. Here's what it looks like when a Hall of Fame talent refuses to let his body write the final chapter. He might never win a Super Bowl. Father Time will catch up eventually. It always does. But I'll tell you this. In 2025, Christian McCaffrey was simply unmatched.